What does it say? Go read it.
At the bottom, at the belly. Mix up.
What's another word for mix? Remember?
Advocate.
Good job.
Okay. What you got there?
To bake.
Nope, pour the.
Better.
Remember? Batter.
Bake them. Eat it up.
It says bake the what? Can you say louder?
Bake the muffins. Eat it up.
It's gonna be good.
Eat it up.
Eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Christian. He wasn't like a kid that you could give a massage to. He didn't like bath time. But again, those were things I didn't pay attention to until a little bit later. So after he was evaluated by Babies Can't Wait, it was focused on self-regulating with Christian. We had a lot of things to focus on. Christian we had to deal with sensory, we had to do food therapy, we had to focus on joint attention, transitioning, and self-regulating skills. And from that first session, we focused on doing baby massage, like just getting Christian to learn how to accept touch, and also calm down a bit when mom is touching you or, giving you a massage. So you need to learn how to relax. I think every session that me and Miss Lemuriel had, I had to learn a new skill, and I had to learn how to parent best for Christian. And I ultimately stuck it out. I stuck out the whole year, and Christian put both me and Miss Lemuriel to work. He really did. But today, I have a kid that can self-regulate like a pro. I can go out. We have the skills. We have the skills for new food. We have the skills for when he's introduced into it, whether it's a new environment or something new that's sensory for him to touch. He's not going to have a meltdown. And if you've had a kid that's had a meltdown, it'll overwhelm you. But he also has the joint attention skills to complete and do speech therapy or to participate in story time, participate in school. You don't, I really pretty much get good things or good reports on Christian, and I really believe it's because we put in that hard work.
It all started for us when he was about 2 weeks old, and we noticed he had some trouble breathing while eating. And me being a paramedic for several years now, and Crystal working in the ER and the pediatric side, we kind of knew we should probably go to the hospital. No. Got sent to CHOA for the PICU and release on a monitor and some oxygen. And
they did several tests when we were at the hospital. Nothing really told us why he needed oxygen, but we did find out he had some cardiac issues, pulmonary stenosis, aortic stenosis. So we had to follow up with cardiology shortly after leaving the hospital. And when we went to his first cardiologist appointment, that's where she saw that his pinkies were crooked and asked if we had genetic testing done during pregnancy, which I did, but it came back normal, negative for all the stuff they test. But she asked if we were okay with further testing because it was an indicator of Williams syndrome. And neither of us, with all our years of medical, had never heard of Williams syndrome before. So, of course, we went to Dr. Google and freaked ourselves out.
Found all the worst things that there could be.
Yeah.
And none of the positive. And this genetic counselor got us in contact with Babies Can't Wait. Mm-hmm. And that's how we were able to get into these programs that he's in to help him.
Yeah. So first we realized he wasn't eating well, like what he should be at a year old. It has helped him in more ways than we could count.
Like he wouldn't wear shoes.
Yeah, so when we got set up with Lemurial, so he was eating purees, but not like anything thicker than that. He wasn't wearing shoes, like hated it, screamed, cried, hated anytime we remotely tried to brush his teeth. He didn't like swinging. He didn't like going on the slide. He was crawling, but no real signs of walking yet. And just like, tons of stuff. But through her help and guidance,
Last, 4 months?
yeah, he will wear shoes all day now. He loves the swing, like obsessed with it. We're still working on the slide, but hearing stuff can sometimes be overwhelming, especially if you don't know what's going on. I mean, we knew a lot, but nothing about Williams syndrome. And, I just think, it's been a lot of help to just have people in your corner.
Sure.
Great neonatal unit. I walk in and the doctor is standing there with my child and by herself telling her that her baby was about to be born and was about to die at the same time. Told up front that he could be born blind. He could be born with cerebral palsy. He could be born with other birth defects. Because he was 4 months premature, which he came out 1 pound and 10 ounces. He was literally the size of my hand. I mean, he's going to do this. He didn't do anything they prepared us for. He did come out crying. They put the oxygen tube down his throat. I'm standing there and I am taking pictures. Sorry. There have been a lot of tears along this journey. They told us that I would not hear him. My daughter was being tended to, so I was the one standing next to the cradle. And I was taking pictures because, he may not be here. And I'm hearing this little hiccup sound. And I mean, it was this really like a mouse. And I turn around and I asked the doctor, and I'm like, what am I hearing? He was crying, and we could hear him crying even though they told us we wouldn't. He was still crying even with the tube down his throat. So when they tell you prepare for this, they don't know. They try their best to prepare you, but there is no preparing. There's not. There's no way to prepare for this beautiful bundle of joy that's going to be a blessing, a curse, the happiest moments you have, the saddest moments you have. You're going to struggle daily. You're gonna go, what did I do wrong? How did this happen? Why me, God? What did I do to deserve this? And I know this because it's not just my daughter who went through it. Everybody in the family went through it. So when they say it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a child. As y'all can see, this is the beautiful little bundle of joy. He came home. He was on heart monitors. He was on oxygen. He had every kind of machine you could humanly possibly think because, like I said, because his body just had not developed the way it was supposed to. He didn't have time to. So when he came home, there were specialists on top of specialists on top of specialists. And my daughter actually had to stay out of work for about a year with him. Sorry. I'm trying to get in the picture. don't get discouraged. And I know that's easy for me to say now because we did. We had heartaches. There was many a night that I went into the shower away from my child and cried so that she didn't see the stress and anxiety on me.
Hi, I'm LaToya Moore.
And I'm Ryan Moore.
And we are here to share our journey with finding out that one of our daughters was on the spectrum. We were late finding out or getting her evaluated. Ryla, she was meeting all of the milestones as a baby and as a toddler. So we didn't really have any of the signs or the traditional signs that typically means that you might have a child that may be on the spectrum pre-K when she started struggling academically in school. And I can even remember I would ask her questions like, how old are you? And instead of her replying with her age, she would repeat the question back to me. How old are you? Versus answering. So she did that a lot of times, and I kind of trained her to respond in the correct manner. But her teachers also was noticing some challenges at school with going into kindergarten. And we were noticing some visual concerns with her, and all of the optometrists, they struggled to determine what was going on with her vision. So when they would show her letters, if it was in a really, really large font, she could clearly say, well, that's an A or that's an O, versus if it was smaller. So we thought maybe it was like a vision situation that's going on with her, and we're just not fully aware. So then we went to Dr. Cook for vision therapy, and it seemed like she may have like double vision and different things. And we just kept getting the runaround with like trying to find support for her academically. And eventually her pediatrician said, well, you all need to take the next steps to get her evaluated by a child psychologist. And we did. And then it turned out that she is a high functioning autistic person, and she has ADHD. So she has both of those things going on, and we didn't really discover it until she was 8. And so I had a lot of mom guilt because I felt like I'm also an educator. So I felt like, how did I miss all of these different signs? And I felt bad that I gave her such a hard time when she was younger, when I was trying to get her to respond correctly to those simple questions like, how old are you? What's your name? And I did like a lot of drill and skill with her until she got it. But I feel like she should have had additional support at an earlier age, which is why I feel like I struggle with mom guilt.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a relief to find out, you know, from the things we were struggling with and how we were able to understand her better. Things when it came to activities, we had her in soccer for a while, and she didn't do well with the sensitivity to touch. She didn't really want to, you know, be anywhere near the ball. And in soccer, of course, you got to migrate to where the ball is. So we saw a lot of things also socially that we were understanding a lot better. It also helped us to identify, you know, some of the things that Ryla might have struggled with early on when we started having with children, and seeing how their progression was. So it was really helpful to know that we had a solution to a lot of the challenges that we saw. And like I said, it was hard to pinpoint and identify that. We had to determine, you know, what type of parenting tools we needed to use in order to help course correct some of her behavior. And then it was great. It was great. From there on, we have an opportunity to learn with her and grow with her and see her unique personality for who she is. And continue to embrace, everything that she wants to do. She's really into astrology. She really likes the stars and the moons, and she's always looking up, trying to figure out, what stage the moon is in tonight. So it's really cool to see her, understanding different things and having a like and an interest and a passion very early at her age.